Mrs. Twit comes blooming down. Mrs. Twit may have been ugly and she may have been busy, but she was not stupid. High up there in the sky, she had a bright idea. If I can get rid of some of this balloon, she said to herself, I will stop going up and start to come down. She began beating through the string that held the balloons to her wrist and arms and neck and hair. Each time she bit through the string and let the balloons floating away, she upward pulled got less and her rate of climbing slowly down. When she had bitten through 20 strings, she stopped going up altogether. She stayed still in the air. She bit through one more string. Very, very slowly, she began to float downward. It was a calm day. There was no wind at all. And because of this, Mrs. Twit had gone absolutely straight up. She now began to come absolutely straight down. As she floated gently down, Mrs. Twit pitched billowed out like a parachute, showing her long knuckle in with a grand sight and a glorious day, and thousands of birds came flying in from millions around to stay at this extraordinary old man in the sky. Old woman in the sky. Mr. Twit got a horrible shock. Mr. Twit, who thought he had seen his ugly wife for the last time, was sitting in the garden celebrating with a mug of beer. Certainly, Mrs. Twit came floating down when she was about halfway of the house about Mr. Twit. She suddenly called out at the top of her voice, Here I come, you grizzly old granny, you rotten old turnip, you filthy old frumpet. Mr. Twit jumped as thought he'd been stung by a giant wasp. He dropped his beard. He looked up, he gasped, he gasped, he gurgled. A few croak sounds came out of his mouth. Oh, he said, oh. I'll get you for this, shouted Mrs. Twit. She was floating down right on top of him. She was purple with rage and slashing the air with her long walking stick, which she had somehow managed to long onto all the time. I swash you to the swoggle, she shouted. I swash you to the swizzle. I crush you to the nozzle. I crush you to the nasal. And before Mr. Twit had time to run away, this bundle of balloons and pitiful and furious fury landed right on top of him, lashed out with a stick and cracking him all over his body.